again, looking at the history of where these bunkers are. So there they are in the 30s, and they haven't moved. And so it certainly is historically accurate. My issue is, from a modern golf standpoint, the game's changed so much, it might be time to think about making them relevant today, but also respecting rules. All right, on 7, another great hole. All of them are good. You've got the bunkering down the left. There's a potential to eliminate the first bunker on the left, mainly just to eliminate some extra maintenance and cost. It's really just in play for the shorter player. Shifting the bunkers down the hole ever so slightly. Just, if you go too far, it doesn't really make sense, but a place where you can just tweak them a little bit, redoing the shared bunkers in place, and then getting the greens complex to reflect what Ross drew. One larger bunker to the right, 2 to the left, and then this really cool green shape. Back where that little tree is in the back on that hillside, that was putting surface once upon a time. So getting that back hole location would be phenomenal. And then everyone's favorite greenside bunker is that one back right. I know all the tricks. No, look how wide he had that drawn. Now granted, he's drawing it right on the putting surface. Really try to respect it. Give you a little more width, so if the ball ends up down there, you can take a stance and make a swing. That's a tough bunker shot back to that green. Another phenomenal green. Over here, you can see the putting surface. You can see kind of a little bit of that ballooning, especially in the back. And then this is what I was talking about. Look at where the fill pad is. Again, the amount of work to create the green. You can see how it starts to fall off here, and then it kind of extends back. That green went back on this point quite a bit. All right, 8. Another great, maybe you might have the best set of Ross par 3s ever. Really cool. On 8, one of the things I really struggle with is look how Ross had the fairway shown down the middle, and the fairway now goes down around the right side. There are a lot of players that could probably utilize at least a little gap in the middle to put the fairway in between those bunkers. Respect as much as we can from what Ross sketched, both in green shape and style. Allowing the cart path to come back a little bit for better access, and then providing more space in that right bunker to play a golf shot. This is really interesting to me. Here's 31 in today. Now, a couple things. There isn't as much gap shown there as over here. I'll fully admit that. I still think it's a good idea to get that fairway away from there and get it down the middle a little bit. But look at how the green shape, how it extends to the left, how it comes to the front. You can see it pretty clear that it has shrunk. So just getting that green back out over here onto the left and out to the full extent of the green pad would really enhance the overall product. All right, number 9, great hole coming back to the clubhouse. Adjusting the tees a little bit would allow us more room to provide cart path around the left side of 10. So shifting the tees, basically the right edge of the tee would become the left. It would allow you to play down the hole with a slight angle. The bunkers that are way off into the left rough would come down the hole some, again, flipping for technology down the hole. The right bunker would become smaller, and then some hummocks to keep the long player honest down on the right side, and a little more width to tie everything together. The left bunker coming away a little bit, and a little wider again so that you can take a stance in the bunker and hit a shot. At the green itself, trying to restore the bunkering and the green shape. Just like I said, again, really unique green here with that back right wing, trying to get that back. Over here, you can see, talking about these bunkers shifting down the hole a little bit, providing more space up and around the green. Here you see in the aerials, again, how technology, thinking about the way the game's changed versus what's happened here is important to think about moving to the future. All right, I haven't dropped anything. We're 9 holes in. Good. All right. Again, awesome golf hole playing away from the clubhouse. Here on the fairway bunkers, moving the raw strategy down the hole. What happened in the last renovation? This bunker was added, and the old bunkers were left. In my opinion, getting them shifted down the hole is a better overall strategy for the long-term benefit of the club. Getting them in a better position for the modern game, shifting these bunkers down the hole as well. Again, recreating the raw strategy in a modern stance. utilizing the cross bunker, actually bringing it towards the tee a little bit. Another example of an original Ross bunker that's in a great landing zone for the longest player. And then an awesome green sit over that bridge, expanding the fairway out, wrapping around the whole right side, wrapping into the front left, and then back out to the left, making the bunker on the left side half as wide and utilizing the space we create to get carts to enter there, come around the left side and up the back of the green. So coming around the outside of the tree along the hillside here and connecting it over to 11. All right, on 11, same kind of strategy with the bunkering, shifting the fairway bunkers down the hole, eliminating this guy here, shifting these just a little bit. We're going to talk about 12 a lot with the bunkering and the placement of those. I'll talk about that on the next slide. Up at the green, when you look at that cross bunker, an interesting Ross asset and character, getting the fairway to lock in, come around the right side, eliminating the little bunker to the right. There's an opportunity to get that cart path a little closer to the green, make it safer to the driving range, and then getting the green back to its original shape, another cool shape there. Up at the green, look at the creek. I know you guys maybe have heard or seen the way that there used to be the creek running through the back of this. I think that might be a little much to restore. So just let's get these two pieces to fit together better. So you've got the great bunker. That sand should be clearly visible. That's one thing I should point out here, right? You can't see that cross bunker. It'd be really nice to see it. It'd mess with your depth perception a little bit, and at least you know where it is. And then here, getting the pieces to connect better. So if we think about that picture and we think about what Ross is showing here, you can kind of see that, you know, the back left, there's some green space in the back here that we're missing, and then being able to connect the pieces with the short grass. All right, on 12. Interesting, the bunker placement that he's showing here, well off the green. Obviously, that bunker placement would not work for the modern game, but we do have a major issue with traffic. There's just no great answer. You can't really go up the right side. You're going to be in traffic on 13. With golf being played down 11, it's a very pinched point. You can see it here. You guys know it. You live it, right? The path coming around. The opportunity to shift the path up a little bit, put some mounding to 11 to protect the players coming up this way and drives off 11, and then get the bunkers, this one to tuck into the fairway ever so slightly, and then one bunker guarding the left side, more like what Ross was showing in his sketch in this location, would really showcase the overall greens complex, make for better function, allow for golfers to get through the space in a golf cart. With the big bunker to the right, awesome feature, really cool. I think I have, yeah. So here's the picture. You know, it's just a shame that we can't quite see more of it. It's really interesting that in Ross's notes, he talked about seeing more of it even in the 20s. He talked about lowering the face on the front here at A at least 3 feet so as to see more sand, and then lowering the approach to see a section of the entrance to the green. You can see how that worked, but we could still get after that sand or the ground, the foreground just a little bit. And I'd love to see just a little more sand off to the right. The other interesting thing here is that when you look at that hill pad, you look at what was there, that green was definitely bigger. So here in 31, okay, here are the bunkers. Now, I'm assuming they are in that similar location off the green, but you can kind of see we could replicate it a little bit up closer to the putting surface. But look at how the green expands or moves out to the left, and it goes way out to the right, and then look how far up the sand is splashed. When we look at kind of a modern stance, you know, this green used to go more right. It had to have gone more to the right. Now obviously there's quite a slope there, but we could work the slope on the back edge of the bunker, not really disturb the really cool kind of punch bowl nature of that putting surface. There's also some missing green space to the left and to the back. So showing the potential to add green space to that back, there's that little knot in the back, you guys know that on the back left, trying to utilize that to its fullest extent. really great options to, again, make a good hole even better. All right, 13, again, shifting bunkers down the fairway, trying to make the better player think, opening the short landing zone, making it wider for everybody else, tweaking the mounding, replacing the trees, the evergreens with some better quality specimens, and then up at the green, really just respecting and restoring the original Ross character. Again, another really cool green. Over here, you can see the drone shot. You can see the potential where the fill pad used to be, and I've actually photoshopped this one. So it's a little extreme that it is Photoshop, but you see what I'm talking about. Front left hole location, the back left, get it to lock into the landform. The back. Okay, again, you see that landform, that's where the green used to be. And then the opportunity to potentially tie into the 14th tee with short grass. All right, on 14, what a cool dog leg with the ponds being inside. Looking at the ability today to clear out a few evergreens so you can fully appreciate that tee shot and how much you want to bite off, right? It's a challenging tee shot for how far to the right you want to play. Notice in Ross's drawing there was no bunker out to the left. I see the ability to utilize some hummocks or slight mounding off to the left side instead of sand. At the green, very slight adjustments to get back to the original shape and some adjustments to the bunkers. If you look on Ross's sketch, you can see the bunkers really have one bunker surround the entire green, the left side and the back. You can't do that just because you have to have access to 15 in the cart path today, but we can certainly respect it in a similar fashion to what you have. And then here you see there are a couple evergreens here that are blocking the view. Look at this great picture from 31. Another good one. All right, 15. Last of the great par threes. Opportunity to maybe shorten the fairway a little bit, adjusting the tee space to get more tee space, more flexibility. Utilize that short grass that's here to create different golf shots around the putting surface itself, respecting the original Ross shape and getting the bunkers to set back into the landscape, make them more impressive off the tee, provide more variety from a hole location standpoint. Again, you can see, look at the fairway grass that they had up and around this putting surface in that area, that dark shade there. All right. On 16, a fairly simple hole, but a very elegant hole, right? It doesn't need a lot of bunkers, it doesn't need a whole lot. It's just a great tee shot to a great green. Looking at that cross bunker, just adjusting it a little bit, again, make it fit the overall Ron Wilson style, and then trying to get the front left corner, back left, and a little more Ross-like to the rear. Here you can see I sketched over this corner in the back. Just a little bit of extra detail around the putting surface really sets off the golf hole is even more unique than it already is. All right, 17, coming down the stretch. It's interesting if you look at the poster on 17 and the PGA program, that cross bunker was actually shown the fairway coming around the other side. It's interesting that Ross is showing it down the left. I think it works a lot better with fairway down the right side and that 4 bunker off to the left. It does provide a really nice visual coming down the home stretch to be able to play over that. But in doing this, it would allow the longer players to play over it, get that full experience of what Ross intended. But for the players playing from the existing 4 tee, which would be expanded, plus an alternate tee on the other side of the bunker, you can play away from it. You don't have to play over it. Right now, the bunker's in a very poor position for some of those players. And then working with the Ross bunker strategy down the hole, adjusting the right bunker back towards the pond a little bit, expanding the fairway, again, making it more in line with what Ross had envisioned in a modern stance. Widen the fairway out to the right, making you really think about that second shot that you have to lay up. Where do you want to position that? Make it have more strategy. At the green itself, replicating, again, Ross' strategy with the bunkering. What a cool green, like a double plateau. One of my favorites on the golf course. So really respecting that, a little bit of work to the corners. Here you see that cross bunker, if it just slid a little to the left, we could see more of it. It would open that line of play from the forward tee. Here you see it from the air, shifting that thing a little to the right, or left, I'm sorry. And then look at, you have this great natural asset with the water and looking down the hole, the ability to widen it out, get a little bit away from the boundary. But where's the best angle of approach into that green? Center or left, right? So we'll give you the width, but you still are better to play down the left side. It's a great overall strategy. And here it is. Here's in the program, you see the fairway down the right side. Okay. All right. On 18, talked about taking the one bunker, shifting them, getting them down the hole. The ability to do kind of the same strategy on the right side, shifting that down, widening the short landing zone, making the better player really think about how they want to attack the final green, being able to potentially play out to the right or challenge those bunkers. Up at the green itself, restoring the hummocks, the mounding that Ross had on the left side of the green, and then redoing the bunkers in place along the right edge. Again, getting a little more shape to the overall putting surface. Here you see a little bit, you can see how the green kind of squares out in front, bows out to the back right, comes in and tucks in. And then from a hummock standpoint, there's an example of some mounding. And then here's an example at Oak Hill. This is the new first hole. I'm not sure if anybody's been there, you may have seen it on TV. Here are some hummocks that lead into the front left edge. It was something Ross did here and there on different golf courses. It's a really neat, different kind of strategy. For the higher handicap player, it's different from hitting out of sand. For the better player, it makes them think of what kind of shot you want to play. So here we are, and there's what it once was. You can see some of the mounding here. Great golf experience. So with that, I didn't drop anything. I made it. Thank you for your patience. You want me to go ahead and take some questions now?
Yeah, recommendation of the change on 18. You didn't really show.
I showed it earlier in the whole Bible. Okay. Okay. That's what you're talking about.
Mark, you get this slide. Hi, John Copley. You know who I am. I'm sure you do. That was really cool. Exciting changes he's recommending. I need 2 more minutes of your time before questions. So, the master plan committee, if everybody could stand up who is on the committee, just for fun. Everybody stand. There you go. Thank you. So thank you for your time. I didn't see Chris stand up. So anyway, we spent an awful lot of time with Andrew's work, and from the boards you've seen, there's a lot of work on there. And what we try to do as stewards of this golf course with you in mind is come up with a package of improvements. Not all the improvements, but a package that we think really addresses the most important things for this golf course. So the package is listed on the left on a few other screens, so I'll just go through this pretty quickly. The improvements recommended by the committee are all the bunkers with the liners. Makes complete sense. The higher quality sand, some selective forward tees for, I'm looking at Don, he'll enjoy that. We think that's important for the playability and the long-term success of the club and trying to get more and more different kind of members. Selective green expansions on all holes except 9 and 12. So Andrew. I think the green expansions are one of the most important things. We just played up in Portland, a few of us, and they've done it up there, and it's dramatically different golf course look to it. Has a lot more pin locations, it looks a lot more natural, and a lot less man-made. all the fairway adjustments you saw, so the wider fairways, some of the straighter fairways, so we got a little more room in different places, different angles of play. Selective tee revisions on a few holes to really combine tees into one longer tee, like on 18 to bring all those tees together, on 8 to bring all those tees together. Real simple things to do. And then selective cart paths. Andrew went through a lot of the cart path revisions. All the cart paths need work, obviously. So we've selected a few, probably almost every hole. So it's not too selective. So, okay, my first minute is up. The second minute is, okay, when are we going to do this? So, next slide. And how long is it going to take? So, given the current market and the availability of selected contractors that can really do this work for us, we're looking at starting in the fall of 21 and concluding in spring of 22. All right? So the course, like the last time we did the bunkers, the course will remain open during construction. You remember how we had to play around some few days or play over, some people played over the cruise and did 4, but that's another thing. So, and then the work won't impact any of our major tournaments, major member tournaments, nor the Northeast Dam. And I'm done.
Thank you, John. So any of the questions, let's direct all of our questions to Andrew first, and then Kevin and I can field any questions as to financial impact this may have on us.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
There's repeated references to the modern game. Could I have your definition?
Yeah, so just the idea that between 1930 and 2020, almost 100 years, technology has changed in that the golf ball is flying farther, and that we want to respect Ross to make sure that what we're doing is allowing us to experience what Ross had envisioned because of that change. So no matter if you're a +2 or a 22 or a 32, your experience trying to get it to be as much like Ross intended, that's the thought.
Okay, so the definition, I would assume the definition includes more than length. Modern obviously includes technology as well.
Yes. Yeah. With what regards are you
I
saying?
mean, just how the course is maintained.
Sure, absolutely.
So the
So-
word modern covers a lot of areas.
Correct, and so part of the idea with the green expansions is to provide more variety of hole locations, especially when the green speeds get up there. But I don't want to harm the really cool putting nature that you have, even with those faster green speeds. So with slight modifications, potentially to just small areas of 5, I guess 12 really wasn't in this section, but especially where there's sand built up that limited your hole location, that would be a place to adjust some slopes for green speeds, but it's mainly the expansions. Does that make sense? Okay.
Andrew, can you speak of the knob in the middle of the third green? Could you have that slide where you could show on that process with us?
Yeah. So this is the green kind of scan, and it's a little hard to tell, but you can see the arrows, right? So the arrows, here's the knob. The arrows are going in all different directions, and then they have arrows kind of going, working left to right. This is a place where working that knob down and connecting these two pieces, and then expanding this back out, that gets us more in line. My presentation on that upper level that I showed you in the 31 program from 3. And then the example of that was here. You see a bit of that knob. This is at the 15th green at Inverness. You can see a bit of that knob there, and how we work that down a little bit and tie everything together to get the whole location. So very similar process. Is that what you were?
Yes, but how do you do it from start to scratch?
Okay, so you take the grass off, set it to the side. It stays in almost a numbered sequence, so it's like pieces of a puzzle. We grade that area, we do the expansion that I showed. I don't remember where it was in this thing. Lift the grass, do the work, and then the grass goes right back down. So that it's very seamless. It looks like it's always been there. You can see just a bit of transition here because it's very young, but the grass will flow together. Mark is preparing grass. You're able to grow your own green turf by harvesting the plugs from aerification, spreading them out, and then letting them regenerate. It's a really cool process. Mark and his guys started a turf nursery in front of the 6T to begin to grow your own green turf, so that when you make these adjustments, the grass matches. So you're not importing like pure bent grass to a historical set of greens. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions? Yes, sir.
When you look at the state of golf, and the compression of golf courses, they're kind of the haves and have-nots. How many golf courses in Oriole are performing some form of renovation and/or blowout to keep up and/or stay ahead of the curve?
I'd say all the courses that are succeeding are making improvements to get better. And what we've seen is when you make an improvement and make improvements like what we're talking about, the buzz, the quality of golf, everything is so elevated that it just keeps propelling you forward. And every club that has taken on a project like this has seen the benefit of that. They continue to elevate themselves above the crowd. Yes, sir.
Quickly back to 3, doing what you proposed, how long did that take to do, and how long do you offer the green for that?
Yeah, well, in this instance, you could put the whole location there or in the front, and if we're just working the back, you could even play. I'm doing a project right now in central Pennsylvania, and we're doing it around play. Like, you know, I saw a guy the other day hit a shot, and he hit a piece of sod, but he ended up, they took a drop and played. But in this instance, you would just be doing surgery in this back corner. And then along that edge would be an expansion. You know, if we got into it, you know, and wanted to go to either a temporary hole down the approach or skip that hole, it would be a day, 2 days max. It's a fairly quick process, it's surgery. But you get everybody there and they're going, and I'm on the ground helping direct them, so it's a quick process. You don't want that grass to sit around too long. You want to put it back down. Yes, sir?
On the third green, if I understand it correctly, right now, if that pin is back there and you're putting up towards it, the ball runs away from you as soon as it gets over the top. You want to raise that up so that it's an all uphill putt, or?
No, this would all stay the same. It's really that working from this section back to make sure that there's a whole location back in that back deck. So the up wouldn't change a whole lot. We might soften the top ever so slightly, so it's just a little flatter. But we want to make sure you can utilize that space. That was the intention.
It's taking the knob down.
Taking the knob down a little bit and filling where those arrows are coming across, just bumping that up a little bit so that it's a bigger space to trough. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Given the quality of the young players that come here and the limited space we have, even if you extend it to 6,900, will that really be a different challenge for them?
Well, in my mind, the golf course presents a pretty good challenge as it sits today. So any yardage we can add, the question was about yardage in the northeast end. I think it helps. And then trying